Okay, hi guys, I think I'm live now. If you can see me, if you can hear me, please do let me know in the chat that everything is good. Then I'll start today's stream. I just felt that it is my responsibility as the co-founder of Cracku, because we have a lot of data. I thought it will be good to do a live stream so that people can know what we have, what we feel with respect to normalization, because I think we have most amount of data. So I felt I should do it. Normally, I would have advised you to forget all of this and just wait for the percentiles to come. But I felt it's okay. We have a lot of data, so I felt it might help students. And the only reason we are doing this is to reduce the anxiety of students. The percentiles we have updated with respect to, I think, around 78,000 subscribers, 78,000 response sheets. And I'll tell you what I feel from the data that we have seen. 78,000 roughly is around 1 in 3.7 people who have taken the examination have uploaded the response sheet on Cracku. A few things that I posted, I think, let me just check once. Yeah, one of the things that I expect is the normalization with respect to QA. One of the things that you should realize with respect to normalization is it will be higher at the extremes. If somebody has scored very well, they'll get normalized either a lot or low. Similarly, if somebody has scored very low, also they will either gain a lot or lose a lot. It will essentially be like a straight line. The difference in your raw score and your normalized score, the difference is maximum at the extremes. Whether it is good or bad will depend on the particular slot. With respect to verbal, one of the things that we notice is that verbal for slot 1, I don't think there is a lot of scaling across the entire spectrum from -24 to +72. The normalization is very close to 0 for slot 1 in verbal. For slot 2, I think people who have scored below 30 marks would be getting negative scaling, and people who have scored above 30 marks, approximately about 30 to 32, I think they are gaining from the scaling. This is with respect to slot 2. Again, the gain that you are going to get is dependent on how far to the extreme you are actually scoring. So somebody who has scored in slot 2, somebody who has scored say 40 marks in verbal would gain, I think, around say 0.2 or 0.3. But somebody who has scored say 55 or 60 would probably score +2 with respect to the increase in normalization. Similarly, somebody who has scored only say 10 marks in slot 2 verbal would be losing, I think, around 2 marks or so, 2 to 2.2. So this is roughly with respect to slot 2 verbal. If you are scoring around 30 marks in raw marks, you would neither get any additional benefit or lose any additional benefit. The higher you score, the better your advantage will be. The lower you score, the worse of your advantage will be. With respect to slot 3, again, it is very similar. The higher you score towards the extremes, you will be scoring more, and the lower you score, the more you will lose. With respect to slot 3, I think the change is much lower. I think it is around 0 marks, 0 to 2 marks. So the more you score, if you are scoring 10 marks, I think you will be gaining, I think, around 1 mark. If you are scoring 20, I think around 1.5. And the maximum is for somebody who has scored, say, around 50 marks, will be gaining +4. This is with respect to slot 3 verbal. And with respect to LRDI, one thing that we have seen is there has been a definite shift downwards for slot 1 LRDI. I think it was everybody is getting scaled down by, I think, around 4 marks in slot 1 LRDI. Roughly it is the same. The decrease for slot 1 LRDI is around -4 to -3.5. With respect to slot 2, I think the more higher you are scoring, the more benefit you are getting. So somebody who is scoring, say, 10 marks in slot 2 LRDI would get a benefit of 1 mark. Somebody who is scoring approximately, say, 20 to 25 would get 2 marks benefit. Somebody who is scoring around, say, 50 marks would be getting around, say, 3 marks benefit. So roughly it is like a straight line. The higher you are scoring, the better your normalization will be. LRDI for slot 3 is actually a steeper line. So the way I would look at it is somebody who is scoring around 10 marks would get a benefit of 2 marks. Somebody who is scoring 20 marks would get a benefit of 3, and so on. Somebody who is scoring high, somebody who is scoring, say, 50 marks would be getting a benefit of 5 to 6 marks in slot 3 LRDI. So it is much steeper than slot 2. This is with respect to LRDI. I'll talk about even quant normalization. Quant, I think everybody in slot 3 essentially got bumped down by around 2 marks. Roughly that is the case, whether you're scoring 10 marks or 20 marks or 30 marks. The scaling down for quant in slot 3 is 3 marks. People from slot 1, I think, have benefited in quant, but again, it depends on how much you have scored. In slot 1 quant, if you have scored around, say, 14 marks, you are not getting a lot of benefit, you are not losing anything. But if you have scored higher than, say, 14 marks, you are getting benefit. For example, somebody who has scored around 30 marks would be getting 1 mark benefit. Somebody who scored around say 45 marks would get 2 marks benefit, and so on. This is for slot 1 quant. Somebody who has scored less than 10 marks again will lose because of the normalization. That is from slot 1. Suppose you have scored 0 marks, you would be probably losing around 1 mark. Slot 2, I think people who have scored lesser have stood to gain. That is, somebody who has scored say 0 marks would gain plus 3 in slot 2. Somebody who has scored 20 marks would gain plus 2, and somebody who has gained around say 35 would gain just 1 mark. So all of this normalization or the impacts of normalization essentially are straight lines. How much you gain or how much you lose is basically dependent on how much you scored in a particular slot. Overall, I would say for a normal student, how much the normalization benefits or loses out is dependent on how much that particular person has scored in each of the 3 sections across the slots. Overall, slot 1 people, I think don't gain or lose from verbal at all. Somebody who is from slot 1 in LRDI would lose around 4 marks. Somebody who is from slot 1 in quant, if they have done well, they will gain marks. If they have not done well, they will probably lose some marks. This is with respect to slot 1. Approximately, I was thinking that they might lose around 3 to 4 marks. Any good student from slot 1 across the 3 sections, roughly they will be losing around 3 to 4 marks. With respect to slot 2 and slot 3, again it is, these are not straight lines, these are straight lines, but they are not lines which are parallel to the x-axis. So how much they gain or lose is dependent on how much they scored. So slot 2, I think has, some people will gain, some people will lose in verbal. If you have done well in verbal, you will gain, otherwise you will lose. Same is the case for even slot 3. So roughly this is what I wanted to say. If you have any questions, we can take them up. There was one issue with respect to slot 2 reading comprehension. I was told that there were 2 options which were the same, but both of them were wrong. So how IIM will actually look at it, I'm not so sure. It is a slightly unique situation. I don't think that has happened before, so I don't know how they would react. Normally, they could say that, okay, both of them are anyways wrong, so we are not going to give you marks. Or they might say that, okay, because both the questions were wrong, both the options were wrong, maybe it might have confused some people and they might not take that into account. So I'm not so sure what will happen. If you ask my suggestion, I think they would just say that both the options were anyways wrong. So whether you marked one or the other doesn't really matter. That is what I think they would say. But again, I don't know how they would react. Sad boy is saying, sir, my score was scaled down from 124 to 19. I think maybe you are from slot 1. Slot 1, like I mentioned earlier, there is a definite dip in LRDI marks. Again, one of the things I want to say is this time there are a couple of issues with respect to our predictions. The reasons, I'll tell you 2 things. One is when the first response sheet came out, most of the people who uploaded, I think, were engineers. The reason I say it is because from the standpoint of a CAT aspirant, how many people will actually know how to find the source code and then how to find that that link and then posting and all. It just seems like a slightly technical thing. So it is possible that the data that we had initially is not unbiased. That is, the number of engineers might be overrepresented in the first around 53,000 response sheets that we had. And now 80,000 that we have approximately. Hopefully it is unbiased, but again, like I said earlier, this time I'm not so sure because of the unique way in which we were able to get the 80,000 response sheets. Still, I feel that we have done a decent job in trying to guess. So I think at least the scaling part should be quite accurate. Raghav is saying a question for slot 3 VRC is wrong. The AI question for dire outcome. Could you check, sir? I'll see, man. I'm not so sure. I haven't checked the response key yet, answer key and all, because I was busy with this normalization and all. Sir, how can the sectional percentage for DLR slot 3 change? I'm at 14 marks and it's showing I barely crossed 75%. Can it decrease below 75? It can go either way, the percentile. But one thing I'm quite certain is slot 3 DLR will definitely get scaled up. Earlier it was 99, now it is somehow 98. Bajaj, we have done a best guess estimate. We have done a honest estimate where I feel that with this data we should be able to predict, and using that I have predicted this. It can be right, it can be wrong, but we have put in a lot of effort and a lot of thought into trying to, and we also made some estimates. Now the estimates can go wrong. The data itself that we have might be, like I mentioned earlier, might be biased. So there are many other things that can happen because of which the percentile might change. But like I said earlier, this is an honest guess that we put based on all the information that we have. And also, I think we have some experience in making these kind of predictions. So based on that, we are predicting this. But again, it can change. Suyash is saying Cracku is showing 93.32. Chances I cross 94 for cap calls. I think that is definitely possible. We can easily be wrong by 1%. That should not be impossible. So you should definitely start preparing for GDPA. Slot 2 got 30 in VRC and it is descaling. But you said it's not doing anything for 30 marks. Scaling to 29.35. Let me just check slot 2. Slot 2 verbal, I think, I think around, I'm sorry. I think above 36 it would not descale. I just looked at the graph wrong. For slot 2 verbal, above 36 marks, you will scale up. Below 36 marks, you will scale down. It was not 30, it is 36. Your slot 2 got 13 VRs and it's descaling. I think I already mentioned that. Yeah. Saket Chamala is saying, sir, I got 107 in slot 1. Okay. I have NC OBC category. Okay. My academics are, okay, good academics. Engineer fresher. Will I be able to create VRC cutoff? VRC is 17, no? What can I expect in Blackie calls? VRC, I think overall, for slot 1, I don't think it changed a lot. So that is the good thing. I remember that for VRC in slot 1, I think roughly it remained the same. I don't think there was a lot of scaling. And based on it, I think the percentile we are expecting for is, approximately 80 percentile, man. You can clear. If luck favors, I think you are on the edge. I think 80 percentile for VRC we were assuming will be scale score of 16.72. So roughly I think you are on the edge. Let us see. Let us hope for the best. Yesh Kandela is saying, what is the reason behind higher scaling up in slot 3 than slot 2? Everyone is saying that slot sections overall were harder. Even I'm not sure, man. That is the data that was coming. Personally, I felt that slot 3, I took the examination in slot 3. I felt that the LRDI was pretty easy. That is what I felt, especially as compared to the last previous years. I haven't yet looked at the questions from slot 1 and slot 2. So I can't compare each, the difficulty level across different slots. But immediately after I came out, I thought slot 3 LRDI is definitely on the very easy side. But I'm actually pretty surprised that slot 3 is actually getting scaled up in LRDI and slot 3. The only way I would look at it is, probably it is because students have scored higher in slot 1 and slot 2 in LRDI, which might be because their questions were even easier. Their LRDI sections were even easier. Is a possibility. I think that is the only logical possibility, because even if you're looking at the averages of LRDI across the 3 slots, I think slot 1 was around 6 marks. The average of all the people that we received close to 80,000. If you differentiate it into or categorize it into slot 1, slot 2 and slot 3, the average of slot 1 I think is around 6 marks higher than the average of slot 3. So I think that is one of the reasons why it is going up. Aditya Gupta is saying, sir, after objection is accepted in slot 2, will percentile change? I don't want to work on this percentiles, man. I think we got around 80k response sheets. So this I think will be maybe the final update. I don't plan to update it again, unless if there is a drastic change in the number of people who have uploaded their response sheets. Suppose it goes from say 78,000 to say 90,000 or 1 lakh. That is A. Or if there is any change in the key, if like you are saying, if an objection is accepted or something like that happens, which is going to change the marks that students get, then probably I will run the script and then we will get the updated percentiles. But otherwise, I don't plan to change, add it. Aditya Gupta is saying 204 marks, IIMS guys scaling in slot 3. People take the exam, man. It is scale, especially slot 3 people, I don't think should really complain, because slot 3 is getting a lot of scaling. I'm quite certain. How much scaling it will get, I'm not so sure, but I'm quite certain slot 3 is going to get scaled up. It is very clear in the data. We are assuming that it is scaling up a lot. I tried to see why that is happening, but I was not able to try to exactly figure out the exact reason for it. Like I mentioned earlier, the averages of slot 3, average score is lesser in verbal as well as in LRDI. So probably that is the reason. But again, IIMS guys scoring 204, I don't think has really impacted the scaling much. You can see it in the data. Anand Krishna is saying, my DLR slot 2 rank is 693, but how is my percentile 98.93? Shouldn't it be more than 99 as my rank is well within 1000? No, this rank is out of the number of people who have uploaded on Cracku. The 693 rank that you're seeing is based on the scale score that you got of all the people who have uploaded their response sheet on Cracku. It doesn't mean that everybody has uploaded. You can see the number, right? It is just 80,000 out of 2.8 lakhs. Now, what I feel with my experience, what I kind of know is that people who have done well will upload their response sheet on Cracku. People who haven't done well, there will be a lot of people who might have done poorly. They know that the examination, they are not going to clear the cutoff, so they would not even bother to check the response sheet. There will be people like that also. There will also be some people who have done well, who have checked their response sheet, but haven't uploaded on Cracku. For example, even the 204 guy that you're talking about from IMS, he has not uploaded his scorecard on Cracku. So there'll be people like that also. So based on all of it, your rank of 693 is giving 98.93 because we are also taking into account and we are making some guesstimates about what is the percentage of people who have uploaded and what is the percentage of people who have not uploaded. Don't panic, it's math. Somebody is saying, okay. Hi sir, slot 3, 100 marks, 29, 29, 42, EWS 897, BBA graduate, 2023. Will my gap year affect me? I used to teach aptitude for 10 months in an offline institute. Should I mention this in my interview? You should definitely mention it in your interview. If you are having that WorkX certificate, you are going to put it in your resume. You need those WorkX points and you should definitely defend it. There is absolutely nothing wrong in teaching maths. You are doing something which I think is honorable and which is noble. Teaching, I think, is a very noble profession. So you should not have any shame in actually doing it. Sir, 97 percentile, but if I clear QA cutoff, what should I do? I don't know. I don't understand the question, man. Okay, guys, I'll answer 2, 3 questions before ending the stream. Give me 2 questions, guys, 2 good questions, and after that, I'll end the stream. Ameya Kane is saying, should I repeat CAT? Scored 53, 20 years old. I always get this question, and my answer is always very similar. You should repeat CAT if you have a job. If you don't have a job, take whatever college you are getting, or find a job, or do something. If you already have a gap year, definitely don't repeat CAT because it is not worth it. Sitting at home and preparing for CAT for 2 years is just not at all worth it. So if you have a job, then you can consider taking CAT again. Especially if you are a 20-year-old, you are still a very young guy. So then I think you can take CAT again. But most important is you should find a job. Many people I noticed, they want to just resign from their job or they don't want to do a job, many freshers. So they take this excuse of taking CAT or studying for CAT, which I think is not needed. If you're really preparing for CAT, you just need to spend around 1-2 hours every single day on a consistent basis from the start. If you do that, if you follow that strict schedule and that discipline, you will do very well in CAT. It is not a very difficult examination. You just need to put in the hours from the start. Many times I actually feel like very disheartened because when somebody asks me 2 weeks before the examination, so that, sir, I'm going to study for 10 hours every day, how much percentile will I get? I just feel that by that time, it is already too late. I don't obviously say that to them because I don't want to demotivate them or demoralize them. So I tell them that, okay, if you put in 10 hours every single day for the next 2 weeks, then your percentile will improve significantly. But essentially what I mean is it is already too late. But for you, somebody who is looking to prepare for CAT again, you have enough time. First of all, focus on that. There is enough time for you to actually apply for that. Apply for that, take that examination, take it with full effort. You still have more than a month. Prepare for it well. And after that happens, then I think you can focus on preparing well for CAT. And CAT is not a difficult examination if you put in dedicated effort. And you have to believe. Many people are asking us about our GDPI course. No, man, unfortunately, we don't have a GDPI course. But if you are based out of Hyderabad and if you need any tips with respect to GDPI, you are welcome to come to our office. I'll definitely, we can guide you there. Siddhant Shankar Pandey has given a super chat. Thanks, man. Sir, VRC slot 2 objection. Will Cracku address it? I heard about it. I don't know whether we'll file a complaint or not because I think many people would have already filed a complaint. So what is the point of somebody else also doing the same? That is basically the issue. Like I think I already addressed it. I'm not so sure whether it will be changed or not. I know that both the options are the same, but I was told that both the options were wrong. So I don't know whether they will give it or not, and how they will give it also is kind of dependent. So I'm not so sure. Let us see. Okay, guys, I'll answer one last question. Whatever question you have, you can ask me in the chat, and then we will end the stream. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. As you can see, chat is going crazy. I'll probably wait for a few minutes and okay. Somebody is saying, okay, wait. Basically, the chat is going so fast, man. I'm not able to answer any question. If you want, just give me like a super chat of 10 rupees or something so that I can actually look at the chat. Otherwise, the chat is going so much, so I'm not able to figure out which one to answer. Okay. Sai Pratyush Adhike saying, sir, I have 90 percentile VRC and DLR, but I have only 15 marks in QA. So some faculty are telling me that if I get less than 85 percentile, I can't get calls from ABC. Is it true? I think all of these institutes, A, B, and C, all of them have sectional cutoffs. Now, if I'm not wrong, the sectional cutoff is 80% for at least IMC. That I'm not so sure. I would want somebody to actually fact check me. But if that is the case, unfortunately, you will not get a shortlist. But those are the rules. Okay. Prashant, wait. Somebody has given a super chat. Let me see. Okay. I am saying that give me a super chat if you want to ask, if you want me to answer a question, because I'm not otherwise able to figure out which one to answer. Okay, somebody is saying, Akshit Garg is saying, how accurate is Cracku percentile? Normally, Cracku percentile every year is pretty accurate. Even this time, I'm quite certain our percentile will be more accurate than most of the other people, just because we are just using the data that is there. Having said that, I am a little concerned about the data that we got, because the first time that we actually upload the response sheet, we got a lot of response sheets from the source code. Now, when I thought about it, I realized that number of people, first of all, you can access it only through a desktop. The response sheet was not accessible on mobile. So somebody should have a desktop and somebody should know how to use the source code, and then somebody should be motivated enough to actually upload it on a response sheet. So this I felt would be not something that everybody would do equally. So considering that, I felt there might be a bias in the data itself. That is one issue. So I'm not so sure. Having said that, I think it will be a fairly accurate one, but there will be some changes that might be possible. One more thing that I felt was that slot 3 was getting scaled up quite a lot. I took the examination in slot 3 and I didn't feel that LRDI especially was very, very difficult. So I was a little surprised to see it getting scaled up so much. Okay, we got some super chats. Let me answer those super chats. Kiran Patyanuke is saying, do Cracku mentors take up profile evaluations? Very good question, Kiran. We will be doing profile evaluations every Thursday at 8 p.m. We'll be doing it on Reddit, because we do get these profile evaluations quite a lot. So we have actually started a subreddit. You can post it there, and we will be doing the profile evaluations every Thursday there. Ayush is saying LRDI should not scale so much for slot 1. What I've noticed is that LRDI has, for everybody in slot 1, it has gone down by around 3 to 4 marks. Maybe it was actually quite easy. I'm not so sure, but this is basically just the data that is saying, and I'm actually quite confident about it. I think LRDI for slot 1 will definitely scale down. One data point that you can immediately verify is the average of everybody in slot 1. It has gone down by average of LRDI in slot 1 is around 5 marks or 6 marks greater than LRDI for other slots. One thing I would tell you, many people are asking about the ZAT crash course. We do have a ZAT crash course. It has just started 1 day back or a couple of days back. That ZAT crash course will have daily live classes. They happen every day at 8 p.m. We will be covering decision making, quant, all of the topics that are there. If you're looking for a very good ZAT crash course, we have given the phone number here. You can call it, and if you have any doubts with respect to what it contains or how the schedule is actually planned, you can let us know. We got some more super chats. Rashiv is asking, what is your score, sir? This time I got 173, man. I was in slot 3. Hiryuk Jyoti Sharma is saying, I got 12 marks in QA in slot 3. Will I clear the cutoff? Slot 3, I think if I'm not wrong, slot 3 for quant has gone down. I think the normalization for slot 3 was negative. So I think it will be not very good, unfortunately. The cutoff of 80% I think will be tough for 12 marks in QA slot 3. Prashant is saying 69 marks OBC, gap 2 years and 2 years social work. Okay. If your 10th and 12th are good, then I think you will have some chance. Also, it is dependent on which slot you are from. If you are probably from, say, slot 3, you might get some bump up. So you will get some shortlists. If I'm not wrong, you should get some shortlists with 70 marks. But I'm not sure whether you'll get shortlist from Blackie. But you'll get some good shortlists. M. Nikhil is saying 87 in slot 2, EWS, 2.5S WorkX, 997, 7.5. Okay. Any chance of old IIM? I think you definitely have some chance. You definitely have some chance, especially because you have good WorkX, you have EWS, and your 10th and 12th are above 9. So all of these I think show that your profile is actually pretty good. So I think you definitely have some chance of getting shortlist from old IIMs. All I would tell you is once this is out, the response rate, all the score and all, just focus, let it end all this anxiety, all this panic. Just forget all of this has happened. Now focus on that. That is something that is in your hands. So focus mostly on what is in your hands. Don't worry about what happened in the earlier slots or earlier weeks or this response rate, that response rate. All that right now doesn't matter. Just focus mostly on preparing as well as you can for that. That is completely in your hands. You have around a month. 1 month is good enough time for you to put in the effort. Okay then guys, that I think we got one more super chat. Let me answer it. Slot 3, 29, 27, 13. Okay. NC OBC 69, non-engineer, male fresher. I think your profile is, I don't know, your 10th and 12th. I'm hoping that they are good. But if that is the case, because you're a non-engineer, you will get some diversity marks. Overall, I think I'm just a little concerned about your score in quant, because 13 in quant, especially in slot 3, it is probably going to go down by 1 or 2 marks. So it is possible that you might not clear the cutoff. But if you do clear the cutoff, overall 69 I think is a good score. You will probably get some bump up in LRDI. So overall I think your percentile will be good, but I'm not so sure whether your quant cutoff will be cleared or not. But if it does clear, I think you'll definitely get some shortlist. HRSC is saying ISB, PGP, YL, your views on GEM cutoff. I'm not so sure, man. I think this is the first time they're doing it. So let them first do it. Only then will we have some data to figure it out. Normally, my impression about ISB is that the profile that they take is very similar to the profile of students who go to IIM Bangalore. So I think the cutoffs also probably will be similar. Where I think ISB, the way I look at it is the cutoffs will be similar to IIM Bangalore. What is score versus percentile after scaling overall? I'll give you random numbers. I think we'll put it up on our Instagram page also shortly. But roughly, I think 99 percentile will be around 96 marks scaled. 95 percentile is around 72 marks, the scaled score. 90 percentile is 60, approximately 59 or 60. 80 is 44. 70 is 36 and so on. I think these are the rough numbers. I'll have to check them again. But we'll upload it on Instagram maybe by end of day today, the actual numbers. Okay guys, thanks for tuning in. That is it for today. If you have any doubts, you can always comment below this video. I'll look at the comments and I'll respond to them. One last super chat that we got, I want to answer it before going. Cracku rank out of 78k is 34,000 at 73.54. But if you do the math, it has to be around 20 to 21k. Can you revise it? Yeah, the point is very simple. These 78,000 people who have uploaded, we definitely know their scores. But there are people who haven't uploaded. So we have to make an estimate of, and we also believe that the number of people who have uploaded, most of them would have been doing well, or at least have the expectation of doing well. Many of the people who know they haven't done well would not even bother to upload their response sheet here. So we have to get a rough estimate which will continue to change. That is the percentage of students who have scored above 99, that percentage which has uploaded over here would be higher than the percentage of students who have scored above 90 marks and uploaded on Cracku, which will be higher than the number of students who have scored above 70 and uploaded on Cracku and so on. So we have a rough estimate about what those percentages will be because we know the total number. We know the final number that we have around 80,000 people out of 2.8 lakhs. So that ratio roughly over there is 3.5. So using that, we actually back calculate and try to guess what is the percentage or what is the ratio of the number of students who have taken the examination, scored above 90 percentile, who have uploaded on Cracku. So roughly we have a ratio there which continues to change as the percentile continues to increase. Based on it, we actually give you the expected percentile. Cracku B School Predictor accurate. I'm getting IIMK shortlist at 96.8 percentile, 998 GEM, 28 months work. I'll just look at it, man. I'm not so sure. Right now, I was working mostly on the scaling and the score calculator and all. The B School Predictor, I'll just look at it and I'll update it if it needs to be updated. Sorry for that issue. Okay, guys. Thanks a lot for tuning in. If you have any doubts, you can ask me in the chat.